going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I know it's been a long time. I was away doing some training, and yeah, I'm back now. I've been back for a couple weeks now, and haven't had anything too productive, so that's why I haven't shot anything. But today's a big day because today is essentially the last day that this car will be running on its stock engine. So I got some explaining to do. So things didn't go out as planned. In this box right here is actually a bit of a surprise. So I'm gonna go ahead and unbox this for you guys, and then I'll explain what I'm talking about. Alright guys, so what we have here, as you can see, is a completely stock, brand new 4G63T Bear block. Now this is brand new from the factory. I literally ordered it from Daytona Mitsubishi. Change of plans. So originally I was going to essentially have this engine pulled, the stock engine in the Evo, pulled and build that, but I changed my mind, and this is actually an idea that the shop essentially gave me a long time ago, the shop that I'm going to, and they basically said, hey, wouldn't be a bad idea for you to just find a Bear block somewhere, something like a block that isn't damaged. A used one is what they recommended, you know, something like a spun bearing or something like that, something with no damage. And had a hard time finding that, so I went and checked out a couple blocks here locally, and all of them were very abused at scoring, damaged somehow, overboard, stock. So the stock bore for the 4G63 is 85 millimeter. A lot of them are 85.5, and they had some scoring on them, so that would require me to bore them out even more to 86. And I didn't want to risk having thin cylinder walls, so I just said, hey, screw it. I'm gonna go ahead and buy a brand new block and essentially build the brand new one and pull the stock one and hold on to that the way it sits. So the reason why I'm doing that is because a lot of people have been telling me, hey, don't get rid of your stock block, leave it stock, don't build it, all this stuff, don't go big horsepower, basically because they've had reliability issues, and they essentially say that once you build it, that it'll never be the same. You'll have issues, it will never run that smooth, so on and so forth. So I decided to hold on to my stock block, basically so in case I change my mind at some other point, I could always just slap it back on. And yeah, I mean, so that's my thought process. Not to mention as well, if something happens to either one, these blocks are becoming harder and harder to find. So yeah, essentially I don't plan on getting rid of this car ever. So if anything happens to one of these, to include the built block, I have a block. Both of these blocks are essentially new to me because I've done everything to this car myself, so I know exactly what's been done to it, as well as now I have that new Bear block. It's a good peace of mind knowing that, you know, you're the first one to use that, and that's kind of like my style. I don't really like buying used parts, so I just bit the bullet and bought a brand new Bear block. So this Bear block was roughly about, shipped to my house, was about 1,800 bucks, which is a little pricey. But from what I'm being told, these blocks are pretty much being discontinued soon. So, I mean, I don't doubt it. Usually manufacturers, I think they're required to hold on to parts for, I want to say 10 years after the release of a vehicle, and it's well past that. This is obviously a 2006. It is now 2020. It's been a very bad 2020 with all this stuff going on, coronavirus and everything. But yeah guys, here it is. It's obviously upside down. I don't want to flip it. This thing's pretty heavy. Now I see why these blocks are so strong. This cast iron it's pretty thick and heavy. But yeah, it came with everything, came with the girdle. So here's the plan. I am essentially changing the plan. So I got a quote from the shop that I was going to. It was different than the initial ballpark quote that I got, and they essentially want $14,000 to build this car. So like, it's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Not even a single check engine light. For me to drop this car off and basically have it built to the way I want it, they're quoting me roughly about 14 grand. And that's not even including if anything were to go wrong. And for those of you that work on cars, you know damn well that something always goes wrong, or it's going to be more because something's going to be unexpected, so on and so forth. So the plan has changed, and I am now going to build this car myself, with obviously the help of a very good friend. He's actually going to probably do majority of it because he's the pro. I am not. So what I'm basically saying is we're going to build this car ourselves, and what I'm going to do is we're going to pull the engine out of this today. So that's going to happen today, either today or tomorrow. I'm going to get some of that footage, but I'm not going to do how-tos, all right? So I don't want you guys thinking that these will be like how-tos or anything like that. Just basically along for the ride, some of it at least. And then, yeah, we'll essentially take that engine out, and we're going to go ahead and bring them that stock block, the one that's on the car right now, and then we're going to bring them this as well, along with some other parts, and they're actually going to assemble it together and basically create like a crate engine kind of thing. So yeah, I just didn't feel like paying. I could afford it if I really wanted to. I just didn't feel like paying $14,000. Most of that's going to be labor. I'm thinking probably about 9 grand of that is going to be labor. And I can't justify paying that when, you know, I don't mind getting my hands dirty, as well as I have friends that, you know, are mechanics and all that stuff. So I just can't justify paying all that money in labor. I'd rather just give some to my friends and you know, me get my hands dirty as well and just do it myself. Not to mention the value that it'll add to me sentimentally, because this car has already been, you know, so much to me. It's my first car, and you know, it'll just mean more to me. Not to mention as well, if anything were to go wrong with this car later on, to include, you know, if I break something, I would at least know how to do it myself rather than having to bother a shop and basically taking it there and having to bug them and pay them and all that stuff. I can pretty much, you know, something breaks, God forbid, you know, I blow the trans or the transfer case, which the trans shouldn't happen because I'm putting a brand new one in there, I built one, but the transfer case or something like that, I could just take it off myself and I know what I'm doing. So that's gonna happen today. So what's gonna happen right now is I'm gonna take the bumper off, and I'm going to take a lot of the goodies that you see, the carbon goodies, because this car is probably going to be on the trailer today to come back here. So I'm going to drive it over to his house. He's got all the tools. He's got the cherry picker. He's got everything. Drive it to his house and pull the engine out. And then I don't want to burden him with the car in his garage. So I'm going to actually put it on a trailer and bring it back over here. Take the engine to Force Fed Performance in Fayetteville, and they're going to build it. He estimated roughly about 2 weeks, but who knows with this coronavirus stuff. We here are pretty much on lockdown. A lot of shops and things are closed, so it could be a while before the parts get in that he needs to build that engine. So I'm probably predicting about a month, maybe a month and a half, where this car will be just sitting. And once we get that back, I'll go ahead and put the engine back myself and install all those parts that I've reviewed with you guys, to include maybe some newer ones. I haven't decided on like a catch can and stuff like that. So there'll still be some more stuff that I need to essentially put on. So you guys will be along for the ride. I figured it'd be better content for you guys anyways. That way you're able to see some of it, the progress and all that stuff. And yeah, so that's happening today. So I'm going to get to it. We're going to take off the bumper, and then I'll let you know when I'm over there. All right, guys, we got the bumper off and we got the side skirt extensions off. Looks really, really naked without them. I actually can't remember the last time those things have been off. Those have been on the car for like 8 years, and they're still in phenomenal shape, as you can see. But yeah, I don't want that stuff to get in the way. We're probably going to be jacking the car up and down, and not to mention when we get on the dyno and whatnot, so those will be off for a while. Yeah, kind of a bittersweet moment, guys. This is probably the last drive that I will have on this stock engine. So the plan is to obviously replace the engine, but I'm also gonna take the head off of this. There's nothing wrong with this head. I don't want to buy a new one, so I'll just go ahead and take this head and put it on the new block with the new internals and the rotating assembly, and then yeah, that'll pretty much be the plan. But let's get this thing started and driven for the last time in a stock engine. Alright guys, let's see how well this thing starts. It's been about a week or so since I've driven it. Not too bad at all. 66,000 miles. Still a baby. Turn this radio off. I usually don't let it sit in here for long when I start it. So I'm gonna go ahead and drive it out. Alright guys. Last drive. Oh, I got a belt that's squeaking. That's new. It's alright, all that stuff's getting replaced. Love this exhaust. Yeah, I got a belt squeaking somewhere, or a pulley, one or the other. All that stuff's getting replaced though, so no big deal. Yeah guys, last drive on the stock engine, so say goodbye. I'll probably split this video into 2 different parts, just because I don't want it to be too long. But yeah, this is it. Alright guys, I'll let you know what the plan is as far as what we're gonna do once we get there. So, alright guys, one last little pull, 3rd gear pull.